Hello everybody and welcome back to Creature Archives. This is Survive, Adapt, Evolve, the series where we explore how creatures from both real life and fantasy might fare in entirely different worlds. Today we will be asking the question, could Night Furies survive Monster Hunter World? The Night Fury is the pinnacle of stealth and speed in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. With unmatched flight, cloaking abilities, and precision plasma blast, it is an apex predator built for surgical strikes and sudden vanishing acts. But the world of Monster Hunter is no safe haven. It's a brutal ecosystem ruled by colossal monsters, elemental threats, and relentless turf wars. Every creature is tested daily, not just by the environment, but by the ecosystem's ceaseless violence and territorial chaos. Will the Night Fury's intelligence, agility, and firepower be enough to carve out a place in this merciless food chain? Or will even the unholy offspring of lightning and death itself perish? Let's find out together in this episode of Creature Archives. Before we go any further, let's first do a quick overview of Night Furies and their capabilities. Night Furies are mid-sized dragons in the How to Train Your Dragon universe, with an estimated wingspan of around 45 feet and a body length of roughly 26 feet. Despite their size, they are incredibly lightweight and aerodynamic, built for speed, stealth, and precision rather than brute strength. Their sleek, jet-black scales make them nearly invisible at night, especially when flying at high speeds. What truly sets the Night Fury apart, however, are its unique and devastating powers. Most iconic is its Plasma Blast, a concentrated bolt of high-energy plasma that explodes on impact. This isn't your average fire breath, this is a weaponized, pinpoint-accurate strike. These blasts are strong enough to demolish large stone structures, instantly melt through metal, and disorient enemies with sheer shockwaves. In addition, Night Furies possess a form of active camouflage or cloaking, using a combination of their dark coloration, rapid movement, and environmental factors like mist and smoke to vanish from sight. But that's not all. In moments of extreme distress, a Night Fury can channel a powerful bioelectric charge, drawing energy from both its own body and the surrounding atmosphere. This results in a sudden electrical discharge, creating a damaging burst of energy in all directions. This ability not only stuns nearby threats, but also renders the Night Fury temporarily invisible, giving it a critical window to escape or reposition. And then of course there's its speed. Above all else, the Night Fury is fast, blindingly fast. It is capable of reaching speeds breaking the sound barrier, making it easily one of the fastest dragons in its universe. It can outpace catapults, arrows, and other dragons mid-chase, diving and weaving with incredible precision. In combat, it uses the speed to strike from unexpected angles, dodge counterattacks, and disappear into the clouds before enemies can react. Its agility, combined with its intelligence, cloaking abilities, and long-range weaponry, makes the Night Fury a true apex ambush predator, one that favors speed over armor and precision over raw power. To determine how well Night Furies would survive in the Monster Hunter World ecosystem, we will evaluate them across 4 key categories: habitat adaptability, dietary compatibility, competition and predation, and reproductive success. Each category will receive a score out of 10, culminating in a final survival rating. We will also explore how these dragons might evolve over time to better suit the brutal and diverse biomes of the new world. And be sure to stick around afterward, because we've also got a special segment exploring what kind of interactions Night Furies might have with the guild, including a legendary story of a hunter who formed an unlikely bond with one of these elusive beasts. Habitat adaptability. The new world is nothing short of a biological crucible, a patchwork of extreme and often unforgiving ecosystems. From volcanic furnaces to ancient rainforest, every region demands a different survival strategy. Before we drop a Night Fury into this gauntlet, we need to consider the kind of environment it originally evolved in. In How to Train Your Dragon, Night Furies hail from a storm-lashed northern archipelago, a region defined by sheer cliffs, pine forest, and open skies streaked with lightning. They grew up weaving through sea gales, ambushing prey beneath storm clouds, and navigating dangerous terrain with unparalleled agility. This origin makes them particularly well-suited to vertical landscapes, low-light conditions, and precision ambush hunting. But how do those traits stack up in the alien ecosystems of the new world? For this analysis, we will be evaluating the 6 core regions of Monster Hunter World, excluding the Guiding Lands due to it pretty much just being an amalgamation of the other biomes, and then ranking them from least to most suitable for a Night Fury survival. First up, the Elder's Recess. This place is pure chaos. Lava rivers, blistering air, and tectonic instability. Apex monsters like Nergigante and Teostra make it one of the most dangerous regions in the game. For a creature used to cool, stormy climates and stealth-based tactics, this biome would be a nightmare. The heat alone would be debilitating, and there's nowhere to hide from such powerful beasts. A Night Fury here would be constantly exposed and under siege. Next, the Rotten Vale. It's dark and subterranean, which might seem like an advantage at first, but the air is thick with toxic gas, and the tight decaying tunnels severely limit flight. The Night Fury's agility and plasma attacks are designed for open space, not suffocating corridors. It might be able to move quietly, but it wouldn't be able to fight effectively or escape danger quickly. This biome turns its greatest strengths into its greatest liabilities. Moving on to the Wildspire Waste, this one's a bit of a mixed bag. The region is wide open with tall rock spires and plenty of airspace to maneuver through, but it's also blisteringly hot, blasted by sandstorms, and dotted with unstable swamplands. The Night Fury could technically operate here, but constant environmental strain would wear it down over time. It's survivable, but far from ideal. Then we have the Hoarfrost Reach. Now we're getting somewhere. This frozen tundra with its towering cliffs, deep snow, and frequent blizzards actually resembles the Night Fury's home in many ways. The vertical terrain offers plenty of space for stealth attacks and aerial ambushes, and despite what self-proclaimed Master Dragon Hunter Grimmel says in the third movie, that Night Fury's, quote, can't survive in the cold, we know that's not entirely accurate. Berk, the Night Fury's adopted home, is a cold island with brutal winters, and we've seen Toothless navigating blizzards, icy cliffs, and frozen seas without issue. So, odds are, Grimmel wasn't referring to the cold itself, but perhaps the lack of food or prey in those barren regions he hunted. Next up, the Ancient Forest, a dense multi-layered jungle with towering trees, tangled underbrush, and an almost labyrinth vertical layout. While it may not share the same climate or coastal features as the Night Fury's native archipelago, it does offer a similar style of three-dimensional space, ideal for an aerial ambush predator. The thick canopy provides natural cover from above, while the forest floor is shrouded in shadow, perfect for stalking or retreating without detection. With so many perches, ridges, and twisting pathways between branches, the Night Fury could use its agility to full advantage, darting between gaps, striking from hidden angles, and using the terrain itself as a weapon. And finally, the Coral Highlands, a surreal sky-high expanse of floating reefs, sheer cliffs, and powerful updrafts. This biome is less about hiding and more about controlling the skies. With little natural cover and constant air currents, survival here depends on aerial dominance, precision movement, and energy-efficient flight. Fortunately, the Night Fury is built for exactly that. Its compact frame, powerful wing beats, and exceptional maneuverability makes it perfectly suited to this kind of environment. The vertical layouts allow for rapid altitude shifts and dynamic hunting patterns, while the constant wind tunnels can be used to extend glides or boost into rapid dives without wasting energy. Unlike grounded or ambush-focused regions, the Coral Highlands favor predators that can think and react in 3 dimensions, hunting in burst, repositioning mid-air, and adapting to unpredictable movement. The Night Fury's speed and combat intelligence would allow it to establish aerial routes, ambush patterns, and even territorial control among the reef pillars and its thermal currents. In a biome where the sky is both battlefield and hunting ground, the Night Fury wouldn't just survive, it would excel. The Night Fury would face serious challenges in regions dominated by extreme heat or toxic conditions, where its agility is hampered and its physiology would be pushed to the brink. But in regions that emphasize verticality, open skies, and precision movement, this dragon would be right at home. With that in mind, for the rest of the video, we will primarily focus on the 3 biomes that offer the best fit for Night Furies: the Coral Highlands, the Ancient Forest, and Hoarfrost Reach. This scores Night Furies a habitat adaptability score of 8 out of 10. Dietary compatibility. In their native world, Night Furies are clearly obligate carnivores with a flexible hunting strategy. While direct evidence of their full diet is surprisingly limited, we do see Toothless regularly eat fish. Additionally, the larger dragon ecosystem they are a part of gives us useful context. Other dragons in the How to Train Your Dragon universe, such as monstrous nightmares and deadly natters, are known to prey on sheep and other livestock, suggesting that dragons in general are comfortable hunting land animals and not just aquatic prey. Given their intelligence, stealth, and power, it's highly likely that Night Furies would opportunistically prey on a wide range of animals, especially anything small enough to be taken down quickly or disoriented with a plasma blast. This means their real-world equivalents would probably behave like raptors or cats, ambushing fish, terrestrial animals, birds, and even maybe other dragons when the opportunity is right. That makes Monster Hunter World surprisingly well suited for their needs. The Coral Highlands is known for its open-air vertical landscape and constant updrafts, and is home to lightweight flying creatures like Raphanos, ideal prey for swift mid-air strikes. The biome's unique terrain and shifting weather patterns provide ample opportunities for a Night Fury to use speed and agility to its advantage. Even larger, more formidable predators could be challenged, especially if the Night Fury takes advantage of bad weather or targets them after attacks in turf war. In the Ancient Forest, you've got everything from docile herd animals like Aptonoths to smaller mid-tier predators like Great Jagras, exactly the kind of targets a Night Fury could handle. The river is also teamed with fish, providing additional food sources that could be hunted or scavenged. With quick aerial strikes and plasma burst, it could disable prey before moving in to finish the job. Hoarfrost Reach represents a cold, harsh environment, but prey like Popo and Lagombi are still abundant. The Night Fury's Plasma Burst could be tactically employed to break through snowdrifts or dislodge prey hiding in ice caves and crevices. Despite the freezing temperatures, the region's vertical cliffs, ice formations, and sheltered areas offer excellent ambush opportunities, playing to the Night Fury's strength in stealth and aerial agility. All told, the New World offers a diverse menu of appropriately sized prey, combined with ecosystems that reward speed, stealth, and ambush hunting. Whether in the trees, the air, or even the snow, the Night Fury could hunt or scavenge with relative ease. This scores the Night Fury a Dietary compatibility rating of 9 out of 10. Competition and predation. The New World is a brutal ecosystem. Every biome teems with territorial monsters, apex predators, and unpredictable rivalries. For a Night Fury to establish itself here long-term, it wouldn't just need to hunt, it would need to defend territory, outmaneuver competitors, and survive frequent predator encounters. The Coral Highlands consist of vast vertical space, shifting wind tunnels, and scattered perches for concealment. Here, the Night Fury's speed and mobility would be its greatest asset. Its primary competition comes from Legiana, a graceful yet aggressive flying wyvern that commands these skies with freezing breath and precise strikes. Though formidable, Legiana's reliance on predictable flight paths and momentum makes it vulnerable to the Night Fury's sudden burst of speed, agility, and ranged plasma attacks. Another interesting rival is Titsyaku, a smaller, more agile creature that uses its echolocation and flashbangs to disorient prey and competitors. While quick and erratic, it lacks the raw firepower and flight mastery of the Night Fury, making it more of a nuisance than a true threat. Most notably, Kirin stands out as one of the few Elder Dragons a Night Fury could realistically challenge in combat. Kirin's primary weapon is powerful lightning bolts, a dangerous attack for most creatures, but not for a Night Fury. In fact, Night Furies are not only immune to electrical attacks, but can absorb this energy to enhance their abilities. This means Kirin's lightning does no harm and instead could make a Night Fury in close proximity completely invisible, gaining a massive stealth advantage. With minimal ground threats and airspace that rewards a Night Fury's mastery, the Coral Highlands plays directly into the Night Fury's strengths. It's an ideal hunting ground offering manageable competition and perfect conditions for stealth, ambush, and high-speed dominance. Here, the Night Fury could easily claim the skies as its aerial throne. The Ancient Forest is a dense, layered jungle of cliffs, winding paths, and vertical routes, an environment that rewards stealth, mobility, and precision. On paper, this biome should suit the Night Fury quite well. Its cloaking ability, aerial agility, and plasma-based range attacks make it a natural ambush predator. But this forest is far from vacant. The most prominent competitor is Rathalos, the so-called King of the Skies. Larger, heavily armored, and fiercely territorial, Rathalos dominates the aerial battlefield. A Night Fury would most likely avoid direct confrontation, using its superior agility to outmaneuver Rathalos through dense forest canopies and vanish into the trees. That said, if forced to fight, Night Furies can punch far above their weight, employing hit-and-run tactics and precision plasma blasts to harass and potentially wear down even larger foes. Perhaps the most thematically fitting rival in this biome is Nargacuga, a fellow Shadow Stalker built for speed, silence, and lethal ambushes. Both creatures excel at striking from cover and vanishing before a counterattack, making a clash between them fast, brutal, and over in seconds. At close range, Nargacuga is a serious threat. Its agility, reflexes, and tail strikes paired with its larger size would make it deadly in tight quarters. Even with its thrown tail spikes, however, it couldn't match the Night Fury's range or aerial flexibility. To survive an encounter, a Night Fury would need to stay airborne, maintain distance, and strike with precision. Encounters with Tobi-Kadachi would also be frequent. Tobi-Kadachi is quick, electrically charged, and excels at vertical ambushes, often striking from trees or cliff walls with surprising speed. While it lacks the ability to fly, its agility and gliding ability still make it a persistent threat. However, what makes this matchup particularly interesting is the elemental contrast. Tobi-Kadachi's electric discharges are a serious threat for most creatures, but as mentioned before, for a Night Fury, they could actually become an advantage. It could potentially absorb that electricity using it to turn invisible, allowing it to vanish mid-battle, reposition unseen, and strike with devastating force. Hoarfrost Reach is a harsh, frozen landscape of snowfields, ice caverns, and sheer cliffs. Its stormy, rugged environment closely mirrors the Night Fury's native archipelago. The most significant rival Night Furies would face here would likely be Barioth, a swift aerial predator armed with saber-like fangs and powerful leaps that allow it to bound across the frozen terrain. Barioth is deadly in close quarters, but can't match Night Furies in terms of ranged attacks. If the Night Fury can maintain the high ground and avoid direct clashes, it could leverage its superior speed and ranged plasma blast to keep Barioth at bay. On the ground, Beatotus would pose a threat to any Night Furies landing to rest or eat. Swimming through snow and ice like water, Beatotus could launch sudden ambushes. Careful selection of hunting and resting spots would be crucial to avoid these unexpected attacks. But the greatest threat here would be Velkhana, the cold-hearted Elder Dragon with the power to freeze both prey and battlefield alike. Velkhana's long-range ice control and ability to reshape its environment with icy constructs makes prolonged confrontations dangerous and unpredictable. Night Furies would have no choice but to avoid Velkhana at all costs, lest they get caught in its powerful blizzards and frozen in place. In Monster Hunter World, Night Furies would face intense competition, especially in the ancient forests where predators are numerous, territorial, and highly specialized. Hoarfrost Reach offers a more familiar environment, but comes with a high-risk encounters that demands careful adaptation. The Coral Highlands, on the other hand, present the least resistance and the greatest opportunity for long-term dominance. Open skies, manageable threats, and terrain that rewards agility and stealth make it an ideal stronghold. Thanks to its speed, stealth, intelligence, and ranged weaponry, Night Fury should be able to stand up to, or at the very least avoid, most competitors and predators in these regions of the New World. This scores the Night Fury a competition and predation rating of 8 out of 10. Reproductive success. Long-term survival isn't just about hunting or avoiding predators. It's about leaving behind the next generation. For a species to establish itself in a new ecosystem, it must reproduce successfully and raise its young to maturity. So, how would Night Furies fare in the unforgiving world of Monster Hunter? While How to Train Your Dragon doesn't detail Night Fury mating biology, we can infer from Toothless and the Light Fury that they likely form monogamous pair bonds and raise and protect their young. This care-based reproductive strategy fits well with stealthy, intelligent predators. Rather than laying large clutches with high mortality, Night Furies raise fewer offspring with greater survival odds, a trait well suited for Monster Hunter's dangerous ecosystems. Not to mention that their offspring are likely capable of using cloaking abilities to escape threats, as we see Toothless and the Light Fury's babies doing just that. This inherited stealth trait would dramatically increase hatchling survivability, especially during early vulnerable stages of development. With high cliffs, floating platforms, and vertical crevices, the Coral Highlands offer excellent natural nesting sites far from most terrestrial threats. While aerial predators like Legiana exist, the Night Fury's camouflage and excellent senses give it a major defensive advantage. The biome's low predator density would also make it easier to establish and protect territory. Open skies provide ideal conditions for young Night Furies to begin flight training early. The ancient forest would offer many potential nesting sites, cliffside ledges, hollow trees, and dense canopy cover. But it's also one of the most dangerous areas for hatchlings. Apex predators like Rathalos and Nargacuga would be a big threat to young Night Furies. Even with strong defenses, maintaining a nest here would be exhausting and risky. However, the dense foliage and vertical space could still offer cover and escape routes, especially for cloaking-capable hatchlings. In Hoarfrost Reach, the cold climate makes nesting more difficult, especially for vulnerable hatchlings. Thermal insulation and shelter would be key. Still, caves and cliffside alcoves offer secluded spots with low terrestrial traffic. The biggest threat would be the presence of Velkhana, whose icy dominion can destabilize entire regions. Nesting would require careful territory selection well away from Elder Dragon influence. Hatchlings able to cloak could still avoid detection and remain hidden even in exposed terrain. With high intelligence, stealth, and strong parental care, Night Furies could raise young in the New World, but success would depend heavily on the biome. The Coral Highlands would provide the best conditions, while the Hoarfrost Reach and Ancient Forest would require more effort and vigilance. This scores the Night Fury a reproductive success score of 7 out of 10. Final survival score, 8 out of 10. With access to flight-friendly vertical biomes combined with a likely versatile diet and formidable stealth and speed, Night Furies would be a strong contender in this brutal ecosystem. While it would face tough competition and challenges in reproduction depending on the biome, its intelligence and agility gives it plenty of advantages to carve out a niche. Overall, the Night Fury is far from guaranteed dominance, but due to its insane speed and versatile abilities, it would definitely be a resilient and effective predator. Before we dive into the speculative evolution section, I have to give a huge shout out to the incredible artists, Delta Reaper 54 and Applebread, who brought these Night Fury variants to life. Seriously, they outdid themselves with the art for this video. If you enjoy what you see, do yourself a favor and check out more of their work. You can find their info in the description below. Speculative evolution. Over generations, exposure to Monster Hunter's extreme biomes would push even a Night Fury to adapt. Their biology, already built around intelligence, stealth, and elemental manipulation, makes them prime candidates for rapid niche specialization. In time, distinct regional variants would emerge, each one uniquely honed to dominate its environment. In the upper altitudes of the Coral Highlands, the sky itself becomes a battlefield. Electric storms crackle across coral spires, the wind shifts without warning, and static charges hang thick in the air. Here, Night Furies underwent a stunning transformation, becoming living lightning strikes, the Storm Fury. Sleek and elongated, the Storm Fury has shimmering scales laced with metallic filaments and conductive spines that run down its back and tail. These spines act like living lightning rods, drawing in ambient electricity and storing it in biocapacitor cells. Even at rest, its body crackles faintly, its heartbeat pulses visible as arcs of blue static across its spine. The Storm Fury's breath weapon has evolved beyond plasma. It now unleashes focused bolts of ionized lightning, arcing blasts that chain between targets. These bolts can ricochet through multiple enemies, making them ideal for vertical dogfights and weather-obscured ambushes. Its aerial style is nothing short of violent elegance. By venting electrical bursts from wingtip vents and spinal conductors, the Storm Fury can kick off the air, launching itself forward like a railgun slug. This sudden acceleration allows it to close distance or dodge attacks with explosive force. It can even generate localized electromagnetic pulses that briefly disrupt other flying creatures' sensory systems, grounding them for an easy kill. Behaviorally, Storm Furies are more erratic and aggressive than their ancestors, highly reactive, fast-thinking, and unpredictable. They strike with precision and vanish into bolts of lightning. This is a predator sculpted by chaos, shaped by the storm that surrounds it. Dense, vertical, and alive with noise, the ancient forest is a place where vision fails and silence kills. In this tangled cathedral of green, traditional flight can often be limited. To adapt, the Night Fury became a phantom of sound and shadow, the Echo Fury. Smaller and stockier than its kin, the Echo Fury has broad bat-like wings built for tight turns and hovering within the forest's dense layers. These adapted wings enhance control during glides and allow for short, silent bursts between branches. Its digits have grown longer and more dexterous, ending in hooked claws perfect for hanging upside down beneath moss-covered boughs or scaling bark silently. Visually, Echo Furies are a mottled green reflecting the jungle around them, and their skin is velvety and sound-dampening. Bioluminescent membranes stretch between their ears, glowing faintly during sonic discharges or courtship displays. Large flexible ears rotate independently, and forward-facing horn ridges act as natural sound amplifiers. Its most striking adaptation is its weapon, a sonic pulse. Instead of explosive plasma, the Echo Fury compresses air in its reinforced larynx and releases it in a focused concussive burst. This weapon is ideal for disorienting prey, rupturing sensory organs, or blasting enemies from the canopy. The sonic blast can also serve as echolocation pulses, mapping the forest in real time even through thick fog or visual obstructions. Prey rarely see an Echo Fury coming. It stalks silently, strikes with overwhelming force, and vanishes into the treetops. Some even theorize that bonded Echo Furies form hunting pairs, coordinating via ultrasonic calls to flank larger monsters or corral them into kill zones. The Echo Fury is a master of sound. In the dense forest where visibility is limited and every sound carries meaning, it moves with calculated precision, using silence and sound as tools of survival. It is a hunter perfectly adapted to an environment where subtlety often means the difference between life and death. In the bitter silence of Hoarfrost Reach, life is shaped by the cold, but one Night Fury lineage rebelled against this, becoming a living inferno, the Scorch Fury. This variant channels its plasma into blistering firepower. Its blasts have become hotter and more explosive, capable of melting permafrost, shattering glacial ice, and punching through the armor of monsters adapted to sub-zero climates. A single shot can destabilize icy cliffs or detonate with concussive heat that vaporizes snow into blinding steam. These weapons evolved to counter a region filled with fire-weak monsters, creatures like Barioth, Beatotus, and even Velkhana. The Scorch Fury turned elemental vulnerability into a tactical edge. Physiologically, the Scorch Fury has undergone intense changes to survive the cold. Dense fur traps solar heat, while a thick fat layer insulates its organs. Its wings are webbed with blood vessels that act like thermal radiators, heating surrounding air to prevent frost buildup during flight. Even its claws and pads are modified for ice traction, giving it sure footing on frozen terrain. Hunting behavior is a dance of patience and power. It stalks from snowdrifts or cliff tops, waiting for the moment its prey exposes a weakness. Then, it strikes, leaving a smoking crater where a monster once stood. And when it disappears again into the mist, all that remains is a whisper of fire and the melting trail of death it left behind. The arrival of the Guild in the New World marked the beginning of a new era, one of discovery, conflict, and awe. But not every threat revealed itself immediately. For a time, the Night Furies remained unseen. These dragons were elusive, cautious, and unlike any creature the researchers had encountered. Early attempts to catalog them failed outright. Their natural stealth, speed, and nocturnal habits made them nearly impossible to track. Many hunters didn't even believe they existed. But eventually, sightings began, and so did the stories. Contrary to expectations, Night Furies were not generally hostile towards humans. Observers reported that they watched from a distance curiously, but made no aggressive moves, so long as they or their young weren't threatened. This docility confused many, especially hunters used to the aggressive hostility of other apex predators. Still, peace never lasts forever. Some hunters, either intrigued or greedy, sought to kill a Night Fury, and eventually, one succeeded. This new exotic material led to the forging of gear unlike any seen before. The Night Fury armor set, crafted from harvested scales, spines, and other rare parts, embodies the very essence of these elusive dragons. Each piece, from the Fury helm to the Fury folds, is engineered for agility and precision. The set is remarkable for its thunder-centric attributes. It boosts elemental thunder power, sharpens critical hit potential, and enhances evasion, perfect for those high-speed hit-and-run tactics that mirror the Night Fury's own natural prowess. Plus, when wearing multiple pieces, you unlock an impressive set bonus that even grants immunity to Thunderblight and allows you to dodge enemy attacks with extended evasion windows. Complementing the armor is the iconic weapon set, Lightning and Death. This pair of finely honed swords channels the Night Fury's raw kinetic energy. They are designed for ruthless lightning-fast strikes, delivering explosive raw damage with an electric edge. Every swing echoes the Night Fury's signature plasma blast, enabling swift cuts that feel as if they were forged from the storms themselves. Together, the armor and twin blades allow a hunter to embody the Night Fury's mix of stealth, speed, and devastating thunder-powered offense. And speaking of gear, if you're enjoying this deep dive and want to bring your own Night Fury-inspired hunter to life, I've partnered with Eldritch Foundry to help you do just that. Whether you're into tabletop RPGs like I am, or just want an awesome collectible for your shelf, you can use Eldritch Foundry to create your own fully custom miniature, including designs like this one. Just click the link in the description and use the code Eldritch Archives for 10% off your physical miniatures. It's a great way to support the channel and bring your own legends to life. While most hunters saw the Night Fury as a prize, a rare kill to prove their worth, one story stands apart. A tale not of conquest, but of a bond forged in lightning and fire. One fateful night, high in the Coral Highlands during a lightning storm, a veteran hunter cornered a wounded Night Fury in a collapsed ravine. It was young, scared, and snarling, but too exhausted to flee. He raised his weapon, and then he paused. This wasn't like the monsters he'd fought before. There was intelligence in its eyes, fear, recognition. It didn't lash out, it waited. In that moment, something ancient stirred within him. The hunter lowered his blade, and the Night Fury in turn did not run. And from that night on, they were never seen apart. What followed became legend, a bond the likes of which the New World had never seen. Hunter and Night Fury, side by side. In the skies, they were unstoppable, a blur of blades and lightning. Together, they downed monsters that normally required full hunting parties. They understood each other not through words, but through instinct and trust. Where one struck, the other followed. Where one fell, the other defended. The guild dubbed them the Storm and the Blade, a name whispered with awe across Astera. But in a world ruled by monsters and gods, even legends face their reckoning. On one doomed expedition, the pair were flying reconnaissance across the Elder's Recess border, when the air pressure suddenly dropped. The sky darkened, winds howled. They had entered the territory of an Elder Dragon, Kushala Daora. Before they could retreat, the storm hit. Hurricane winds tore across the cliffs, throwing the Night Fury off course. The hunter clung desperately to his mount as gale force blasts battered them from all sides. Kushala descended like a ghost of metal and wind, its wings shredding the clouds apart with every beat. Flight was impossible. The Night Fury couldn't gain altitude, its agility smothered by the choking wind vortex. Kushala struck, driving them into the mountainside. The hunter ruled, drawing his weapon even as his companions struggled to rise. And then, the sky split. A scream of thunder unlike anything they'd heard echoed across the peaks, and a bolt of blinding plasma struck Kushala from the side, detonating in a crackling bloom of lightning and heat. A massive figure passed overhead, larger than any Night Fury ever recorded, trailing clouds and lightning in its wake. The Elder Dragon screeched in pain, skidded across the ground, dazed and furious. Then, the shape circled back. Wreathed in thunderclouds and rimmed with light, the Skywrath Sovereign descended like a god of storms. Twice the size of a standard Night Fury, its wings crackled with electromagnetic energy, and its eyes shimmered with ancient understanding. Without hesitation, the two titans clashed in the turbulent skies. Kushala Daora whipped the air into violent tempest with its metallic wings, summoning destructive windstorms to tear through the heavens. Skywrath Sovereign answered with bolts of crackling plasma arcing between its wings and tail, striking Kushala with blasts of pure electrical fury. Their battle was a symphony of chaos. Winds roared, lightning flashed, and the very air vibrated with the force of their power. Each clash sent shockwaves through the mountains. The Skywrath Stormcloak shimmered like a living tempest, shielding it from Kushala's brutal assaults while it struck with precision and overwhelming force. And yet, the Skywrath Sovereign did not attack the Hunter or his Night Fury. The Skywrath landed between them and Kushala. With a growl that rumbled like thunder, it raised its wings and called the storm. Wind and lightning surged around it in a protective veil. Kushala reared back, hesitated, and then vanished into the storm, unwilling to challenge this new apex. The battle was over. The message was clear. This was a guardian. Some scholars argue that the Skywrath sovereigns are not merely elder dragons but ecosystem arbiters. They appear only when the balance tips too far, when elder dragons grow too aggressive, or when hunters go too far. These beings intervene, not to destroy, but to restore. They remember those who show mercy, and they punish those who don't. Thanks for watching this episode of Survive, Adapt, Evolve. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any future content. And a special shout out to channel members, thank you for your support. Until next time, stay curious, and I'll see you all in the next video.